Okay, and yeah, DL and this one is videos is unmakeable.
Yeah.
BDS at 10 p.m., right?
No, no, 10 p.m. Huh?
Yeah,
There's
10
only
p.m.
white and
onwards.
black.
Should be 10
Everybody
p.m.
the
right?
color separate. Black, white, and white.
As
No,
per
the
WhatsApp
session
group.
he's asking.
Ah,
Okay.
today's session. Okay, okay, okay. Sorry, I thought maybe the exam, right? Yeah, 10 p.m. means like after Veena session, maybe I am guessing maybe like 10 o'clock. Yeah, Yogesh is ready anytime. Yeah. So let's have the Veena session now. Should we wait or can we start?
Can start.
Yeah, we can start. Yeah.
എന്താ Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me know once you're able to see.
Yeah, yeah, we can see this. Yeah.
SPA seems to be all theoretical, uh, mostly scenario based or direct questions.
Indirect. Huh?
No, more, some of it are direct questions only.
Yeah, but one thing what he got a professor mentioned is that terminologies in one of his initial sessions he mentioned we need to be aware of the terminologies and we have to use maximum terminologies, not just plain English. Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, right, right. Okay.
So consider an Apache zookeeper with different number of servers is set up. Discuss the consequences for each of the following server configuration in Ensemble. Ensemble is kind of group of servers. So it's kind of means if we use a single server, what will happen? Two server, what will happen? And odd number of server, more than one, what will happen? So if Zookeeper is used for the configuration management, right? So the kind of it will provide the fault tolerance and all. So if we use single server, if that server goes down, we will not get that details. So that's where the single server is not acceptable solution. And if we take two servers, here they have this leader selection strategy, right? So whenever they select a leader, if there are only two servers or any of the even numbers, that voting system will not be accurate. So there is a chance that both the servers will get the equal vote. So for that reason, even number of servers is not acceptable. Then only option is odd number of servers more than one. So as per the our slides, right?
So one
Second.
question. If there are two servers, then is there any problem in master slave architecture or leader and worker architecture?
Yeah, correct. So if you see here, if we have a single node, the shopkeeper ensemble fails when that node fails. If that node fails, the ensemble also will fail. It contributes to single point of failure and it is not recommended in the production environment. If we have two nodes and one node fails, we don't have the majority as well, since one out of two is not a majority.
Wow,
So
great. Thank you. Thank you for this reference actually.
if we have three nodes and one node fail, we will have the majority. So it is the minimum requirement. So we can have three, five, or seven. It's not more than that. Usually they will say five is the ideal, three is the minimum configuration, seven we can have.
So one question, if we are limiting the number of nodes to say maximum 7, then there will be limit to the capacity, compute capacity of the zookeeper, right?
You were asking seven is ideal or not?
I was asking, then
Hmm.
it will be having limited capacity. Zookeeper will have
But
limited
seven,
capacity if it is limited.
yeah, seven should be fine, right? Because it's just for the configuration management. If we have more servers,
Oh, okay, got it,
then
got it.
that
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
this
got it,
this
got it. It
is
is only
the
for configuration. Okay.
there is a architecture diagram. This is the diagram. So if we have more servers, it has to navigate through all to get the information, right?
So again, I'll say 2, 4 is not acceptable at all.
Two and four
Number
is
of
not
servers.
acceptable. That's correct.
And 1 is
So,
acceptable, but it is SPOF, single point of failure.
correct. That's correct.
Okay, okay, okay.
So in the dev and ITG, we can have one node, but in production system, we need to have three, five, or seven.
Yeah, thank you.
So here, if we have four nodes or two nodes fail, it fails again, and it is similar to having three nodes. Extra node does not serve any purpose.
So, so that means even number of nodes can be there, but those are not ideal not good configuration.
Correct, correct.
Animal
So kind of it's a direct question. Imagine that you are building a next generation telecom company, one that help users to avoid wastage of data from their existing data package subscription. First step is to deploy smart agent at customer's phone. These agents will report the application data use of the phone every hour, along with the information on which applications are consuming more data. Based on this, we would like to offer customers variable pricing in real time based on when and how they run their favorite applications. So this is again based on your data usage or based on the time which you are using, they are offering a variable pricing. So here the target variable is the price. I didn't see this option, means the exploratory analysis in our PPT.
So
So
show
here
a sample of, okay.
show a sample of tuple generated out of a agent on phone. So what they are telling is this is based on the application usage, right? So they have installed a smart agent in your phone, and from phone they will capture the applications which are consuming more data every hour. So the time will be one parameter. The which application like Netflix or if any gaming applications which you are using, whichever is consuming more data, that will be there. And what is the
So
how much data is this? Mm,
I guess time, then service name, and then
mm,
miss date, what time it captured, then
correct,
how much, then
correct.
service name, then how much it consumed, data it consumed. So data
Mm.
consumption, 3 columns. Fourth one, okay, fine, sorry. I was trying
So
to guess.
rest of it, right? Those three are coming in their description itself. On top
Mhm.
of that, if you want to add anything else, right, like in network type, you will have the cellular data or the Wi-Fi.
Okay, okay. Mhm.
Those things also they will be, because this is for the cellular data, they are giving the offer. This
Oh,
variable
yes.
pricing is given for the cellular data. So if the user is using Wi-Fi and accessing any of the application, that doesn't have to count here.
Is it only a single timestamp, or do we need
No,
start
you
timestamp
will
and
have
end timestamp?
that also can be there. In timestamp also can be there.
Yeah, it should be there for entire duration, start of the hour, end of the hour,
Yeah,
because it is hourly report. So that would be good idea to keep it.
both.
Start date and end date.
Yeah, I mean, because see, you might be using only 5 minutes, right? But the next hour, maybe 15 minutes.
Yes.
So that way.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
start
correct.
time, end time, or start time stamp and end time stamp of capturing the data or uses of data.
This like we will
So,
not be having any like this phone particular this agent if we deploy. So that phone like what is the usage pattern of the phone? How will you put it in this tuple?
this is just a sample data, right? So
Okay.
from the description itself, we know they are taking they want the application data use of every hour. So the usage means how much data is consuming, which application is consuming, and timestamp. And
Yeah, you are
this
right.
is for
Y- Yeah, you are
so
right. Usage pattern will be decided by the whoever is analyzing the data. Yeah.
correct. So in any sample you can give, but on similar lines. Okay, give two
Uh,
examples of X. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
it should be timestamp should be that 1 hour duration, right? From this time to this time, this application has used this much of data, right?
Correct.
That
So
should be
since it's a hourly report, right? I just put 1 hour, but we can have that start timestamp and end timestamp. So this is something which we are deriving, right? So
Also, can
oh,
we also not think about the, I mean, which user also, right? I mean, which user that data we are gathering from?
means
which
that
Don't we
user in
need?
the sense since
that should be anonymous or what?
Actually,
yeah,
yes, there should be some identification. It may be IP address or something. So some kind of yes, that ID should be there,
correct.
right?
That
That we should
IMEI
include it.
number
Yeah.
or something can be.
Device
Yeah.
ID. We can consider device ID as well. Yeah. It may be anything. IMEI also. Yeah.
So this will identify a device.
IP or IMEI or device ID, something like that. Yeah.
So it should have application and data usage of all the application name and data usage for all the application, no? Or is it like
Correct. They have asked
Yeah,
a
yeah.
single tuple, right?
Single
In the
single tuple.
show a sample of tuple.
Yeah.
So
Basically, we need to provide metadata only.
Correct, Veena. I mean, just an example, right? One example we are showing here, but for the same user, there might be multiple. Like if you're using Netflix, or also if you're using YouTube, so there will be multiple tuples. But I think for this example, this is enough to just give a
correct.
sample.
Right.
The
I'm guessing
okay.
it should be Netflix comma 500 MB, then another yeah, array maybe like, you know, Netflix comma 500 MB or Netflix is to
No, no.
500.
Tuple wise, you can make it in like Excel table form. On top, it should be column name, and below should be the record. So that way, it will be better. Actually, that kind of information is required here.
I can
Structural information is needed. So we need to show it in table format, just single record.
yes, I Actually, I don't know what is a tuple, how to represent a tuple. I'm just guessing it.
Tuple means a record. Tuple means record.
Yeah, record only. Okay. This is
Yeah,
a record, right?
that's
It is
the
having
technical term.
this
Yeah.
parenthesis and comma. Uh, so this is
No,
yeah, column wise.
tuple means record. Yeah, tuple itself means record in data RDBMS concepts.
Yeah, just an
Same thing if we write in some row and column form, I think it should suffice. The same thing, whatever.
No, I think,
Mhm.
Ishwar, I believe they might be expecting like kind of a unstructured data, I guess. So in
Okay.
that case, this tuple, I mean, if it is a like a structured, then probably row and column we can put.
Okay. Next.
But again, even this case, right? If we know the data coming from every agent, right, of the user, it is in the same form. We might have a system with like a fixed structure, like a structured instead of unstructured. So that should also work actually.
Let's go
Is
ahead.
it not the tuple we used to have the form in the Python?
How you represent tuple in Java? Maybe they are expecting Java.
Tuple I know in context of Python, it just
Tuple
it's
will
like
be two
uh,
variables in
Yeah,
a
it's a immutable
column.
list, right? It's a
yeah,
immutable list. Yeah,
in Python it's a tuple.
in
But
Python.
actually, I think Janardhan has mentioned right here the tuple means just an entry. I mean, irrespective of the underlying application
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
Java or Python, I think this
Yeah,
should be
exactly.
tuple is
enough.
synonym for record in RDBMS
Exactly,
actually.
Yeah, it's
like
basically
a
in a message. It's a message here because see in this streaming application, right? So it might be mostly the semi-structured format. So in maybe JSON or XML. So I think whatever that is shown in the screen, right, that is good enough for this question, I guess.
yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
fine, fine. That's good. Yeah, let's go ahead then. Yeah.
Okay.
Give two examples of exploratory analysis you will do on this data. Give details.
Yeah, we can also get right like who's the user who's consuming more data, or but maybe if we are also capturing the location, say geographical location in the tuple, probably we can also find out analysis saying okay which area users are consuming more data,
Yeah,
or
which
probably
area people are spending more time on Facebook, at what time some
and
people are
also
spending. Yeah.
given we are capturing hourly basis, right? Even we can also say okay during the day which time period is mostly people are spending more time and consuming more data. So that kind of multiple examples we can give here.
Yeah, if he's having a sleep issue, he's not sleeping properly. That also we can find out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, also like which application user is
Ah,
using the most,
more,
which
yeah,
application is consuming a
correct.
lot of data, and as you said, what time of the day, it's the usage is more. That also can be
Yeah,
Yeah, but
found. So
yeah,
that's our
the thing
example.
is, the telecom company is there. No? That context we need to know. So, for the telecom company, what will be the, I mean, what will give them the advantage of using
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah. Advantage will be like if you find if the company finds at some point of time the usage is very low, they might provide an offer saying that we charge you like the 50% or seventy
Discount.
percent for
Yeah,
this.
just like earlier there
Yeah,
was an offer that if you can talk overnight in, I think, free or
yes,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
nights
that.
and weekends are free. Normally it's like some charge. Yeah.
yeah. So those kind of things it may be useful.
So they can also see right where it is mostly used during the day and like that. So they can accordingly have their infrastructure also. Like that.
If they,
Yeah, but I think one thing is like this should be mostly specific to the user, because whatever you are saying, general thing they can find from their servers itself. So this question is more pertaining to the user, I believe, because that's the reason they're installing the smart agent in the user's device, right?
So if they find some applications are being used much more than others, so what can they do with that? What is the idea? I mean, next generation telecom, what can they? Suppose here that guy is using Roblox and what is it, Netflix, right? So how can the
Yeah,
telecom?
that will be an input to the applications, no? Like Facebook or Netflix, they will come to know from this data that how many people, how many users are using, their application. What is their market share? They can find out.
In this case, right, they are means this telecom company is offering a variable pricing. Maybe it's not applicable in India, but outside and all right, some other countries it will be based on the usage, the prepaid postpaid this one postpaid connection might be used based on the usage. So in that case, during certain period of time, whenever they are using this consuming more data, they are offering a variable pricing. So
Yeah,
if they use
correct.
from this period to this period, that time they can offer a variable pricing. So that is one of the analysis they will be doing, which time period is most of the users, what time period they will be consuming more data. So
Yeah,
he
also in future, they may have a scheme like if you use Facebook, the data price may be like 50%. They will give offer. I mean, I'm just thinking like it's not true as of now. Maybe that kind of thing also can come.
And again, they see here we just now I'm having a new connection, right? So they are also having a subscription, Netflix subscription. If I opt for that telecom vendor, so I'll get the internet and all, but also a Netflix subscription. Maybe they might have an
Yeah.
analysis, say, people are watching, getting like, they like Netflix. So likewise, they can give some offerings, right? Like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
So
they may even have a tag with the device brand also.
yeah.
So if you use this brand, then data can be cheaper.
Yeah,
Something like.
they like to, I mean, attract other customers also, right? To retain the existing ones as well as to attract new ones. So that's it.
Yeah, but Yogesh mentioned this something happening like for Amazon Prime or Netflix with this sort of subscription. This one will be cheap or it's free like that, right?
I'm getting now actually this month I'm changing one. I'm taking KPN and as part of the registration, right? They're offering me a Netflix for like 1 year actually.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think we can move on to the next question.
Yeah.
what can be the target variable in this example?
Oh, it's a pricing, right? That's what we are offering.
Correct. So finally, the prediction will be on what should be the pricing. What sort of data modeling technique can be utilized for it?
Then pricing, then it's a regression technique, right? Not a classification.
Correct. We can use
No,
regression
this
analysis.
is data model, right? No, this is data model, no? Or it's not
Kind
machine
of
learning model.
predictive modeling, right? Based on the data, we
Okay.
are doing the prediction.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Which type of system architecture will be useful in this scenario?
Since it is telecom data, it will be huge, and
Yeah.
distributed system architecture is one such we can use.
I think we can have the data streams, right? Something like or Kafka streams. because the data is coming from multiple agents in real time,
Yeah, it
and
should
we
be
do
in
want,
from
yeah,
AWS side. It can be Amazon
kinesis,
Kinesis can also be used.
kinesis also. Yeah.
And
So
it since it is an IoT device, so
yeah,
IoT device sensor input will be fed to whatever architecture we are choosing.
yeah, we
Then
can like
what is the architecture that finally system architecture? Only
correct.
one architecture we have to specify, or what is that?
Correct.
No,
Either
see,
client server architecture, distributed
yeah,
architecture, we have those,
So this
right?
is
So
streaming architecture, data streaming.
correct. So see, in the input layer, right, ingestion is, you will there will multiple options actually, because there are multiple products and options are available, right? So one option I can think of is to get the data from these multiple agents, right, in real time, say Kafka or some other AWS cloud, and then store into storage. If it is a AWS, it may be S3, or if it
Yeah,
is
we can say data
Azure, then
lake
it's
generally.
ADLS, right?
Yeah,
And then what I would do, processing, right? Then I can have a batch processing also. I can have a Spark jobs which will run maybe periodically, and process the data
uh,
which is gathered.
it cannot be
And
batch processing because this is real time requirement.
Yeah. And here I think, see, the smart agent is also computing, right? So it's kind of distributed. So every user phone will be having that, and it will be doing the computation. And then
Yeah.
the outputs are sent to a common, the company's server. So it is, I think distributed will be much more apt, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so real time streaming is one thing where we can use Kafka or Amazon Kinesis. And then for storage, then processing should be there. For example, AWS Data Firehose or Kinesis Analytics can be used. And after that, we can store data somewhere, maybe ADLS or S3. And then from there, it can be picked. Means all will happen without any delay. So it will be near real time actually.
correct. But whatever these are all tools and technologies,
Okay.
kinesis and all. But the question they are telling is system architecture. So we need to go to the parent level.
Then it is
Okay.
a distributed
Lambda or Kappa.
usage, huh?
Correct.
Okay. Distributed is the option.
Uh,
What is the answer here it is telling? Can you just know?
Actually, what are the types of system architectures? Is our PPT, lecture PPT mentioning somewhere?
let's see.
For example, I would say, okay, it is a
This
streaming
says
data architecture. Distributed, I know it is there.
only distributed we are learning. So all this.
but if
No
you use
option.
Spark, no, see, if you use Spark, right, again it's gonna be on a multiple, right, multiple.
Distributed system only.
It's distributed only, right, because you have
Yeah,
one
correct.
driver, and there will be multiple
Architecture, something like that. Because Lambda architecture is like the current one, which also gives the it is
Yeah.
the kind of architecture which is being
Yes.
used in most of these systems.
Yeah, I agree. Lambda should be the option actually. Lambda, which takes
Yes.
care of both real time as well as batch streaming. Or
Yes.
Kappa can also be one option.
I don't know what is the limitation of Kappa, but Lambda, it does batch and stream processing both, and it has got a storage facility also, like wherein the data can be stored for temporary before the data analytics layer, and everything can be orchestrated.
Does Kappa architecture has batch processing?
No, it doesn't.
Kappa is
So
only for
it
the
have
live
the
streaming.
historical data.
No,
I
Kafka
don't
is
know.
only
Anybody can explain Kappa?
Kafka is just messaging, right? It only accepts the
Not
streaming from
Kappa,
the
Kappa.
source.
Kappa architecture,
Oh,
Lambda,
okay.
Kappa,
Kappa.
Kappa.
That is a
Okay.
letter like Lambda and Kappa.
No, I don't have that idea.
So, see, if we want to have the historical data, then we need to go with lambda also, no?
No, lambda is just like, yeah, in this case, yes, suitable also. Like whenever there is an entry, right, in our application, it will trigger a lambda function. And then whatever lambda function has the logic, it will be doing all the processing and putting the data into the storage.
Yeah, this PPT contains that lambda. If we search.
Also, in the previous question, okay, also in the previous question, they have mentioned data modeling. I am not, like sir has mentioned, we need to be specific, like operational something, transactional.
No,
Did
data
anyone
model
remember?
perspective, if you look from data model perspective, so there are two types: online transaction processing, and there is online analytical processing. And from systems
OLTP
perspective,
and
if you
OLTP.
go,
Okay.
it can be operational
But he
data
we
store.
mentioned like we need to use specific terminologies.
Veena, can you show me the question, the previous, what is exactly data modeling? Because if the data modeling, then you will have a logical data model, right? And the physical one also.
In the
Okay.
PPT, I guess in the PPT, just type
For the
like
So that
operational
way there
something
is
like that.
relational data model and there
Exactly,
is
conceptual. Very first is conceptual, then you will convert into logical and then physical, right?
physical. But
Yeah.
those are stages of data models,
Data
different
modeling
phases.
techniques.
And otherwise there is online, sorry, RDBMS data model. What should I say? Relational data model and dimensional data model. So dimensional here is whenever it comes analytical thing, then we go for dimensional data model.
I'm
I
just
don't
checking
know.
in the
I
chat.
remember like he mentioned 4 types of model, operational model. We need to mention, we need to specific with the, we need to mention only those terms. Something he said. I don't know whether it is related to data model or not, but if anyone is aware of it.
I think data model here would mean related to that what kind of analysis technique, machine learning related, data set related.
Even the ER also, right? ER modeling, entity relationships.
Okay, if you go for entity relationship modeling, then it will be that relational modeling would be
It's
would apply.
relational.
Yeah, relational data modeling. I have 15 years of data modeling experience.
Okay.
So
Okay.
all types of data modeling. Yeah.
He specifically
Yes.
mentioned no 4 terms, 4 terms.
Probably
Oh
you
my
can
God.
mention all type. Professor also might need to look for it. He might not be aware also. I mean, and
No,
TS.
he only told. He only told. He only
I
mentioned
think
the 4 terms.
Kappa architecture may be more suitable, no? I just Googled. So what Kappa architecture is saying is without the batch layer, it's a stream layer and the serving layer. So this can take care of the, for suitable for real-time applications, real-time, data. So that's what they are saying. So
yeah, so Lambda also takes care of real time, but only thing is in Lambda the previous records are passed again for batch processing. So there is 2 times processing is 2 times. So 2 times processing is required. So that is where the limitation comes. In Kappa only once processing goes.
yeah,
So,
and because this is a real-time pricing, right? So this Kappa may be more suitable, I guess.
okay. Both
I mean,
can
I'm also
process
not
real
sure,
time.
just guessing
Both
only.
can process real time. If you search for Lambda, that also does real time.
Yeah,
It has
yeah,
2
correct,
paths.
correct. But Lambda
It
is
has
more
2 paths.
complex, they are saying. It's more
Yes.
complex.
Lambda is
This
complex.
is a simplified version of Lambda.
Yeah.
But in general, telecom services means they use the historical data to generate new plans, something like that. No, then if historical data is most important in the
But this is dynamic pricing, they are saying, right? Real-time pricing. So based on the current hour usage, they are going to price.
Then we will mention for a safe side both. For dynamic pricing only, if you are looking, go with
exactly.
okay.
Maybe see one more thing is that those historical data aggregates must be already present, right? So they will just refer it. That's all. They don't have to do a new processing there.
Yes, right. Historical is present there.
Yeah. So they might use that data, but that will be a single row available in aggregate form already. So they can use that along with that, top up with this information, whatever the new hourly information, and generate the new price.
Okay, fine. So what is the answer for data modeling technique? No, what we had is yeah, as well as E also.
Or is it they're expecting like some kind of like a event streaming technique?
There is data model for Hackoload, I remember, was mentioned in this.
In this, they haven't they didn't mention anything on the data model. So only the properties of data.
It is written fact-based, that is dimensional data model. Fact-based is dimensional data model.
Yeah, fact
Yeah, I
and
think that will
dimension.
be the one. Yeah, exactly. I think that will be there because they are saying data model, right? So fact-based dimensional data model. That will be the answer, I guess.
So
They
this
are
is in the case
mentioning
of the data warehousing, right? In the case of
Yeah,
data
star schema.
warehousing, you can.
And
Yes,
Yeah,
here
same
yes.
thing.
also,
Here
yeah,
also
here
we can use,
also
right? Because
in
see, if you see the our example, no, the fact is the hours, the number of hours, right?
yeah, in this case also we
Yeah.
need to aggregate, so it will be
Everything else is dimension. If you see like the application, device, all these are dimension. Of course, timestamp is one thing which is not dimension,
so
but other things are all dimension.
usage is fact in our case, and
Yeah,
everything else is dimension. You are right. For
everything
example,
else is
time
dimension.
dimension.
Correct. Time dimension will be there. Timestamp also is one of the fact.
Yes, the way
Yeah.
it is used, because we are
Yeah.
going to capture what time of the day or what day of the week is uses
Yeah.
high, something like that.
Veena, can you also
Exactly.
scroll
Exactly.
down to
Those
see if any other
information.
data model given?
only this one, fact-based only they have given.
Okay.
That is suitable for, and that fact base means we will use operational data store where we will be doing all the process. We will be keeping the data. When we say operational data store, mostly we keep data for say 24 hours or say 1 month. Otherwise rest all we move to data warehouse, means separate historical data warehouse. Yeah, so we'll mention it as fact based data model, fact based modeling or dimensional modeling.
Yeah. Even we can mention star schema. That is also correct.
Oh, they also given the answers here. Okay.
Who has
Oh, you're
who
writing.
had written fact based or dimensional data modeling? Yeah, so please
Okay.
use the term dimension. Yeah, dimensional data modeling. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. In brackets, we can say star schema.
Star and snowflake. Yeah.
So did we conclude whether it is lambda or kappa?
So I'll say distributed system architecture, keep it here as is. Now we can say that one of these two lambda or kappa architecture can be used. Which one is more suitable, that we can specify. So someone was saying kappa architecture, we can write that kappa architecture we will prefer here. I know lambda architecture I have implemented for banking. That was cloud data migration, but okay, please.
Anyone in telecom industry here? A streaming data application is built to process the events received from different data sources.
That's
This,
correct.
this processed data needs to be made available to various clients for further usage. This data should be available for 6 months after it's processed. The process of storing the data should not cause any impact for the analysis layer. The
So
data
that six
persistence.
months. Okay, sorry. That 6 months cannot be hard coded. It can be anything, maybe monthly or yearly, or maybe just for a week.
6 months.
It is
Oh,
not specified actually. But we were that you were okay. Sorry. That is a question. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
The process of storing the data should not cause any impact for the analysis layer. The data persistence can be handled in the batch manner. The propose a suitable storage solution that will help to meet all the above mentioned requirements for data storage.
Data lake.
Yeah, actually, no. Here, I believe I see we have multiple options, right, in the storage also, depending upon what we need, right? So, example, if you need it immediately, S3 is a good option. Again, in also there are in the AWS, but there are also options after 6 months, right? After 6 months, you can move the data, having a life data cycle, right? You can move to it to the low cost storage, some kind of there are other options, right? Less
Cold
frequently used.
storage, you can say. To
Yeah,
cold
yeah,
storage.
because that cold storage you need to just pay. Only thing that it might be little more time you have to wait if you need, but they only need for 6 months. That thing it shouldn't be impacted, right? So definitely we have to keep the data in the S3 bucket for 6 months, and after 6 months we can set it to move from that there to some uh, low cost other storage where the cost will be less, and even though it's required, it will be available in decent time.
Yeah, from AWS perspective,
Yeah,
so there is first is standard storage where frequent storage is that is highest cost. Then we can set the data life cycle like after 6 months, move
yeah,
it to infrequent storage, which is cheaper. And then from infrequent storage, we can move it to Glacier, which is very cheap. And the
yeah.
Glacier, actually, if we want to retrieve from Glacier, we need to give them hours of time, basically up to 24 hours also if you want to retrieve something from there. So we can say that we can set data life cycle so that for frequent storage it should be for 6 months, and then it should automatically move to data life cycle should be such that it should automatically move to infrequent, and then after archival policy it should move to cold storage like Glacier. So this kind of answer if we write, if we are supposed to provide storage cycle. Yeah, it is mentioned what kind of storage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, there are multiple solution. Any one solution we can do. Since we have
Yeah, yeah.
learned the answer on kinesis, right? I went with that answer. So there is a in kinesis data stream, right? We can store the data up to means by default 7 days, and it can retain up to 365 days, right? So
Right.
6 months data can be stored in kinesis.
Your voice is breaking, Veena.
That's great how they managed it.
Itself. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Right?
this is clear.
Sorry.
Yes. What is
But we
the
don't,
requirement?
yeah, we don't need to keep it in the kinesis, right? Once it is processed, we can move to the permanent storage like S3, and there we'll set up a data lifecycle.
But in this case, what I see, they say that,
Mhm.
okay, you do with Kinesis and then throw away your data. You do not need it. What kind
No,
of
but no. If you
explanation?
see the middle, right? This meets our requirement of having the data available for 6 months. It's processed. See, also there are they telling right the in the question. I guess they mentioned when
Please scroll up
required,
to
it should
question.
impact.
Please scroll up to the question. Yeah.
See, the process of
Here,
storing the
6 months.
data should not cause any impact for the analysis later. I mean, if you need it within 6 month data, I mean, they should not be analysis impact, right? I mean, the data should be available immediately.
They want to keep the analysis layer and the storage layer separate.
Correct.
Data persistence should be there, means we need a separate storage layer.
Exactly. Data processing can be
And it
handled
is
in the
written
batch
also,
manner.
propose a suitable storage solution.
The same
That
thing then
stream,
AWS.
that
Yeah.
Kinesis is not a data storage solution. It is just
Yes.
for transit. Data is in transit. It is not storage actually. So saying that Amazon Kinesis can store the data, that is not a good option, I will say.
Yes.
We need
It's not a
persistent,
storage. Yes.
persistent storage,
Maybe
not the in transit
we can
storage.
store in
Persistent
partitions
storage. So
like Hadoop
Hmm.
HDFS files with partitions. That can help now.
Yeah. I mean, partitions is always there. I mean, you can it can
Hadoop,
be any. It
yeah,
can be
those
any
things.
HDFS also. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine.
But
Because
you know what?
why I'm saying is uh, those partitions will be separate, so the analysis will not be affected by the new data. I mean, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, we need some kind of storage, so we need to move it to um, miss disk storage, say for example S3 or
Yeah.
some kind of that solution. So data lake, for example.
So will S3 or Amazon S3 will be good for storing for 6 months? Because I think
Yes.
S3 is much more faster, or like they use some I know some CDNs, this content delivery network, they use those S3 for
Mhm.
getting data quite faster.
Yeah,
So
because if you
spending
see
that much
no,
money.
yeah, in the question also it's mentioned, right? For the analysis, it shouldn't impact, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have one
So
more, right? Something called as DynamoDB.
DynamoDB is to store very small amount of data. Your one record cannot exceed 400 KB of data, and it is
Okay.
very costly. So specifically, it is for sensor data, for say user session data. So these kind of informations which is kept there. Then a DynamoDB stream is prepared, and then data is
I
deleted.
think that
Oh,
is
okay.
a structural one. Is that I don't remember actually. DynamoDB is
DynamoDB is a document plus key value pair database. So it
okay,
is
okay.
not a
Correct.
structured database.
Not a structure. Okay.
Yeah. Key value pair and document, both the types it supports. But limit is single record will contain only 400 KB of data,
What about
including
Redshift?
Redshift is a relational database. It is
Mhm.
columnar database, means NoSQL database as well as relational, you can say.
Yeah.
Storage is columnar and it can store up to petabytes of data.
But also no, in this case, only we need 6 months data, right? Once the data is older than 6 months, we don't need. But if we use like the data lifecycle policies, we will save some amount there. But if we don't use, we will be using the premium storage, and we are paying more also.
Yeah.
So S3 will suit the current scenario, is it? Given
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
scenario.
S3.
Yeah,
At the
because
same time, yeah, at the same time also we have to mention there to save some cost, we can also have a life cycle where it will move from S3 to some other low cost storage like Janardhan
those are
mentioned,
all
right?
actually types of S3 storages, you can say, within
Exactly.
S3
Yeah, yeah,
itself.
yeah.
So specifying S3 would be okay. The answer someone has written that is good actually. If we use Kinesis, so Kinesis data firehose can automatically, it is integrated to S3, so it can deliver data to S3. So that answer looks good actually in next paragraph. Veena, you have written answer.
Yeah.
In case of if we are using EMR, then we have to write. Otherwise, in AWS Glue, half of the job is already done. This is the difference between Glue and EMR.
This 6 marks question, I think they might be expecting some kind of a diagram also.
Diagram and
Yes.
yeah.
Because
So
Then
if,
entire
we
data
have a
pipeline we
topic
need to draw.
yeah,
in this, right? We have a topic on batch and stream processing in the PPT. So, and sorry.
probably we can also I mean, show them like we have a couple of options, but this seems to be better to demonstrate. Okay, we know the tools are available, and so know which one is best in this case. That way.
Here they have suggested means some from the industries for streaming Storm, S4 and all, and for batch Hadoop Spark.
No, Spark is not a storage, right? Spark is a processing engine.
Yeah, it is for streaming, data streaming. They have written type streaming.
Yeah, streaming. Yes, yeah.
Batch
Because it will
streaming
not have a
basically.
storage. It will accept the data coming from the Kinesis or something. It will do the processing, whatever it is supposed to do. But at the end, it will write to some storage layer, either S3
basically,
or some other layer. Yeah.
yeah, basically programming part it will handle to move the
Exactly.
data.
Can Apache Spark replace Kinesis? Even that reads from live stream, right?
Yeah, because it also Spark also accepts the streaming also. If I if I haven't used, but I know Spark can process both. I mean the batch as well as
Actually,
the
that
streaming
is a,
data.
I would say that is a framework, while this Kinesis is a service. So there is difference actually.
Oh, what do you exactly mean by service and framework? Service is something that we make use of, right?
Yes.
Lightweight.
Spark, for example, AWS Glue, if you see in the background, AWS Glue uses Spark, right, to process the data in the background, and it creates EMR.
Is it?
Yeah, it creates EMR cluster. If you look into the details how it has been executed in log files, if you go and look at the CloudWatch logs, it writes everything there. So basically, same way, anything you run on AWS, which has name as Apache, in the background, it uses Hadoop cluster, Hadoop related thing. So yeah, so service is different. Service is what is shown on the front. For example, AWS Glue, Kinesis, and in the background, whatever processing is happening, how it is managed, that is a framework.
Okay.
Apache Spark, Apache
Have
Storm.
anybody here worked with Kinesis in your companies, in your workplace? Used Kinesis?
I have read a lot, but never used.
Okay.
Yeah, I too just read it once. Otherwise, not a hands-on. But yeah, I think we can use Kafka also, right, to get the data streaming and then push it to Spark, and then Spark after processing it will just dump it to a storage, any storage.
Yeah, and Kafka is generally preferred over Kinesis because it is best in handling real-time data.
Oh, And cost-wise also, it must be comparatively cheaper, right? Than
It is again
versus
open source.
AWS.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hello, I used Kinesis in real time. Yeah, so Kinesis Firehose, Kinesis data streams. So if you do Kafka, we had to do all the heavy lifting configuration. So if you have to do the byte transfer, let's say that the Kinesis Firehose is connecting India to Australia in a fact of streaming the data. Okay, whatever that transaction you're doing in India, you want to synchronize that with Australia in the fact. So you use a Kinesis stream to connect the data between these two places. So if it comes to Kafka, okay, you have to do all the configurations by yourself if you do the self-managed. So Kinesis stream is a managed solution coming from AWS. You do all the configuration by yourself.
Yeah, got it. Since
Yeah.
So of course,
Kafka
yeah,
is
of course the
external.
cost will be more.
It's,
Yeah, of
it's
course
a
the cost
two
will be more.
different use case. It's a two different use case. So if you have to do a streaming, okay, and then data transmission, yes, that is Kinesis. But if you are trying to do a message protocol, like if you want to notify 10 people or your 10 clients, where you got received a package and you want to notify 10 different people, that time is Kafka, which is the messaging, but the data streaming and messaging is two different use cases. And the equivalent of Kafka in Amazon is called Event Bridge in Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I made it clear to what is data streaming and what is data messaging.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was
got it.
clear. Yeah.
I mean, Kafka is basically publish subscribe kind of service
Yes, yes.
rather than a data streaming service actually.
Yes, correct.
Even if it is real time.
Correct. So mostly, if you look at those Kafka streamings are used in for maybe the video streamings that all applications are trying to ship. So live video streaming from here to there, they transmit the real-time data in the streams. So the streams can be text streams or audio streams or binary streams or JSON streams. It could be anything. So on the both, it is more of like a pipe. Okay, the stream is like a pipe, and both the areas you need to have and producer consumer. I mean, like receivers. It's not a producer consumer in Kafka in Kinesis. It's a receiver and then transmitter. So what we do as in use cases, we have clients across all the countries. So we do a data transmission centrally in for accounting purpose. So we have Amazon Aurora in Australia, Sydney, all the different locations, and in the Middle East, AWS, we are bringing it. Used to be in Bahrain. Now we are bringing it in the Middle East. All the data streamed in here, and the billing go from here. So we transmit all the billing information and then centralize it in Dubai.
So you used Kinesis video streaming.
Yes, we use Kinesis. So there is something called DMS. So in AWS,
Data
there is
migration service.
yes.
Data migration
So we
service.
use that service in for all the database changes, and that event we trigger and then connect it with streams, and then it comes to the central location. So
And
which
event
architecture?
triggering, you use Lambda, is it, for event triggering?
No, so actually DMS has the event triggering by itself. So any insert, update, delete, it has a
Okay.
trigger. So we use
Okay.
that
It's
one.
like a
And
trigger.
yeah, so we also extensively use Dynamo, Dynamo tables. So this is for logging and then other non-transactional purpose.
Okay. Which company, Praveen?
I cannot disclose that company. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So which company you are working for, you will not disclose.
No, the client and then the other stuffs are all very confidential. It's an airline based.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let us be back to the question then.
Yeah. What's the question now? So sorry, I just joined late. Okay, where were we?
We completed the third one.
Yeah.
The discussion currently is on the streaming that application.
So we need to prepare streaming architecture showing the
Yeah.
entire data flow with various layers like what is the input, what is the output, and what techniques or what architecture we are going to use and why we are preferring that. These all we need to specify because it is 6 marks question. So we discussed all this.
In Kinesis, same like Hive, we have to form a data structure. Maybe your operational data structure is in SQL format, and then we need to form a Kinesis data stream structure. So that structure you can intermediately view in the Kinesis data streams, and then after that you have to put it in. If you have to do any transformation job, if it is heavy lifting transformation job, you can do it in Glue. If it is very minimal transformation, you can do it in Lambda. So heavy lifting means if you are getting a big chunk of data and then that can't fit into the pipe, then the data measure you have to calculate. So if it is 1 MB, the rate of incoming, and then you have to, your pipe is only 1 MB or 2 MB, the size of the Kinesis string. So you need to chunk that one into that size, as smaller the size, and then send it packets by packets. So that's what you need to do. So for that, you use AWS Glue. Glue is nothing but a big studio. You can have your batch processing or, I mean, Glue is indirectly and Hadoop behind. So it does the EMR data, what do you say? We discussed no day before yesterday. So split and reduce and mapping. So that's what it does. And only ship the data which is really relevant, just to discard the other chunks of data in the data residence itself and move only the relevant data. So those all ETL manipulation things like you can do it in Glue. Glue will run big data Hadoop EMR clusters behind, and then it ships the data in Kinesis. Then again in the receiver side, you have to receive it. Maybe you can store it in Dynamo or you can store it in Redshift, warehouse thing, and then from there you can take it to QuickSight.
Yes, no. ഇങ്ങനെ രാവിലെ 5 മണിക്ക് എഴുന്നേറ്റ് വന്നിരിക്കും. രാവിലെ തന്നെ 6 മണിക്ക് എഴുന്നേറ്റ് ഞാൻ ബാക്കി ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിക്കുമായിരിക്കും.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that quite clear. What's the question?
Can you please repeat whatever you said? Little slow.
Okay.
Little slow.
Say for example, you are trying to transmit a video data, which is 4K video data from Dubai to Frankfurt, and the pipe given is only 2 MB. So in a second, you are transmitting how many 1080K pixels? Then it would be 10 MB. You need to transmit, but you have been provided only with the 2 MB pipe. Then you have to break the 10 MB into multiple 2 MBs, 5 2 MBs, and then put that in that one channel, or you might need several parallel channels. So, and then on the receiver side, you need to aggregate all together and to frame that and then bring that back as a one video. So this is one use case. Or if you are trying to do big, for example, for us, what we do is there are a large number of flight information which comes. So continuous changes of flight or continuous incoming flights, DCS information, we call that. So those information, not all the information has to be transmitted between. So we use that mapping and filter out all the unnecessary data and take only the useful information to the other side. So for that, we use Glue. Glue is nothing but a big data, ready-made big data by AWS.
To create a data pipeline or ETL.
No. Glue is purely not a pipeline. Glue is only an transformation job. So you're trying to transform from one state to one form to another form. suppose your incoming is XML, you want to convert everything to JSON, or you want to convert every image to a JSON structure. So those kind of all data thing will be done in the glue.
In my case, I'm getting all the sales data. I'm processing through Glue using AWS step functions as orchestrator.
Yes, step function, yes. Nice.
Yeah, so Glue is being used to process all the data, and
Right.
we are using Python as programming language there.
So you also bring in SageMaker if you are interested in that, and then do some of our ML. Python notebook can be used in the SageMaker if you have to. And then after Glue job, we have Amazon Athena there. That's a big data query processing. Either put it in Athena or put it in S3 bucket as a gold storage. So we use data lake there, S3 data lake. And there are discussions that we are doing now currently to move to Snowflake or Databricks. So Snowflake is what we decided because it does it very fast when compared to Databricks. And then business dashboard in Amazon QuickSight.
You seem to be doing a very interesting work.
No, sometimes we completely go into the regular job because when I come to learn about the MongoDB and stuff, the things that we don't use, but we learn. When the last assignment was something like that.
Right.
So yeah, so we are using the lower version of MongoDB for the map reduce and then storage. So we do big data processing. After the final output we get in the big data, that we store in Mongo. That Mongo will be useful for inside Mongo also there is a bit of map reduce is there. So the mapper and reducer. So that is aggregation. So then we store it there. And we use the lower version when we look at after the assignment. So it has got quite a lot of new features come in the higher version of Mongo. I will try now because I cannot showcase my office stuff, but I will try to make a similar application. I will show. Yeah. So that's why day before yesterday, I given you a quick thing where exactly big data is used is we might have studied about TF IDRF, right? So the TF IDRF, you can do it simply if it is 3 documents. Consider if you have 10,000 documents and you have to take the data, which is, let's say, for example, 10,000 airport information. So everyday airport information you are getting in a document, you have to align in what is Dubai airport from there. So you have to do a big map reducer and then find all the Dubai airport into key value and then bring the airlines who is flying inside the Dubai airport and then export those information, map reduce and then put it into Mongo. So TF-IDRF is the same similar example. What it is used in the NLP term. So you have to find the same word in all the documents in a parallel batch processing. So if one machine has to do the job of 10,000 PDFs reading it, it will take a longer time. So you have to put it in a cluster. Then maybe 10 clusters would do 10,000 jobs each. So everything will bring the Word document and then the IDF document information. I put that sample yesterday, I guess. So that's one of the good example for NLP processing that is being used in Amazon Alexa. So that's a big thing. So TF-IDRF is a live example used by Amazon, this one, Alexa. Yeah. We were doing quite a lot of things. Now, there is a big lot of team which is working on that. So I'm just moving away on just business data only. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Hey, Manoj, do we have any other link for BDS or we are continuing here? I thought of same. Okay, okay. I disconnected. I was looking for the link, but I thought same. Okay, so join back. Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Confusing a little bit. Yeah. Okay. No, no. I thought it's time up. People might be waiting, and there is a different link. So
Oh.
I. Two things. Yeah. Then it is good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then I didn't miss much that Praveen was explaining interesting stuff.
No, I was just saying what is really used in real life. That's more what we were doing.
Correct, correct, correct.
What is the link for the next meeting? Okay. Okay, we can remain here.
I'll send one case study link. Okay, that would give how airline revenue management is fully working. Okay, that would tell all the info. So you can see the big size of the data pipeline that is working.
One basic question, how are you guys studying SPA? Going through the lectures, is it?
Not studying actually.
Officially, yes. But
no, I'm
looks
planning to start today. I have no clue how to start, where to start.
No, I just started today only.
Yeah,
but looks
that is.
like it just essay, some storytelling. Yeah,
And
it's
which
not a.
which lecturers sessions are good? Any idea?
Not
Santosh.
sure, but I'm referring Professor Praveen's lectures.
I think this lecturer, he will tell you should not copy. You should have the specific terminology while you're writing the answers. Otherwise, you will not get mark, and then later you don't tell me like this. He keeps on telling in his lectures.
Kotrite sir, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think writing SPA answers need to have specific terminologies in the answer sheets.
No, there's so much to study, I feel.
I think everybody need not to study everything. One module, if everyone
And
prepares
then share. And then share, huh?
and then share, and then that's it, right? Job done. Yeah, I think that will be that will be better. Means Manoj is doing really a great work. I think because of Manoj, especially in semester 3, we know what is where. Otherwise, gone case.
No, that is
Yeah,
true. But
really.
I think we should also understand. We need to understand
Correct.
because
Correct.
he's alone taking care, right? So
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we should also help him to the
Yes,
maximum
yes.
way, so he can also do the other things.
Correct.
Yeah, probably
We
after
should.
this midterm. Yeah, after midterm, yeah, let's plan it well. Like say, let's say have like a 2 to 3 people per subject. So if someone is not available, no, other couple of people can take care. Just we have to start the meeting, right?
Yeah,
That's
yes.
it. But yeah, probably we will. Let's continue this one. We will discuss that separately. How we can plan better later on.
sure.
Yeah. Last time I wanted to, but again, I was so occupied in my work. But yeah, this same I thought I could manage, and then I really feel these things are making a good difference. Huh? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I will do that. I will do that, Manoj. Yeah. Yes.
We need one more storage layer here, right? They are telling the analysis layer should be different from the storage layer.
No, I think you have a good storage. Yeah, in that storage, you can have multiple options. Like first to be S3 because 6 months we want the data to be available, without any impact. But after that, to save some cost, we can have a data life cycle to move the data to low cost storage, like say Glacier or infrequently used those stuff.
Okay. Going to the next question. Why messaging or data flow layer is required in streaming data system? So this is also there in this PPT.
So if you guys interested, this is what I was talking about. Just I put it in the chat. Okay. Can click the link and you can see the dimensions of data flow going. I could explain that one. So this many AWS services are there. So internal data on the left hand side, and then what we consume in the final is in the right hand side. Yeah. This is for it's a smaller size. Actually, similar to that, there will be 10, 15 different architectures that it has to club up all at once.
It seems to be very helpful.
Yeah. We'll send more of this, but like how we do programming in those days, now what generally is everything is about data. So each of the boxes you see there, then there will be a QA and there will be a business requirement for each box. So producer domain account, central IT platform, consumer domain account. So there's all different departments. And finally, the machine learning is a different department. And then department. So they connect directly with the business analyst, and it connects with the C-level executives for making decisions. There is something called event bridge. Basically, when there is a flight delay happen, then the event bridge is very much required, and like, okay, thousands of passengers in that particular duration would be rescheduled. We call it as okay, last minute cancellation or disaster. Then all the flight cancellation has to be reallocated to a different mission. Tons of data flowing between one country to another country, and those Veenas all get reallocated. Yeah. So think that if this particular architecture has been implemented totally, we need to figure out that if one problem goes wrong, then figure out where it goes wrong in this whole architecture. So that's the big size of tension every day runs. Okay, I'll try to give a live example later on. So we can make, small pipelines and then finally to a big size pipeline. No, Manoj, this won't be as simple because we should be knowing all the components, That's very, really difficult to explain about, like, okay, what is EFS and what is EMR and what is Redshift, what is data mesh, data mart, data glue, data catalog, data Athena, so peak site and gateway, microservices, step function, Dynamo, Kinesis configuration, incoming exchange, data exchange, DMS. It's way beyond. Okay, it's way beyond the syllabus that we are talking about in this training.
I think we can limit to the technologies which we have learned in the
Correct.
assignment, right? So,
Yeah.
so only those components we can cover. Just
Yes,
learning
yes.
everything is difficult.
Correct. I will check that. Okay, yeah, I will check that. Okay, what is that minimalistic thing that we can do with our syllabus? Yeah. But after midsum for sure, because I will be free after midsum. Then I can take some live example and then give you. So exam related relevant concepts, I can be there. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So exam related, yes, because it is mutually benefit. Others were contributing more, so I can also contribute. Okay. Yeah, let's continue.
So here we have the data plot here. Here, this question is related to this messaging system. Why messaging or data flow layer is required in streaming data system. So this particular layer is between the collection layer and the processing layer. So the events we will get from the collection layer, the data flow layer will accept these messages and send this message to processing layer. And I think these two are the ones which he is expecting us to answer. A real-time interface to data layer for both producer and consumers of the data help in guaranteeing the at least one semantics. Why this layer is, what is the use of this layer is the question, right? Why messaging or data flow layer is required in streaming data system?
Yeah. Is he saying that at least once processing of the data is required? That is why?
Correct. Helps in guaranteeing the at least one semantics.
Yeah, so two items you have written. One is there should be interface between consumer and producer. Another is the data must be processed at least once. At least once processing, and there is another option. I forgot.
Think this is two mark question. So at least 2 points should be there, but we can still elaborate on what is this layer based on this PPT, right? We can elaborate what is that layer and why it is used. Yeah. List 4 common data processing operations that can be performed on the streaming data. Stream processing is a data management technique that involves ingesting a continuous data stream to quickly analyze, filter, transform, or enhance the data in real time. Once processed, I think this is the answer.
Oh, yeah, it's given, right? Okay. Common data processing operations. Yeah, filter, aggregations, group by, join.
Yeah.
Here. Here they are mentioning filtering, aggregating, only those two. Yeah, we can move. List down 2 points which motivates the need of systems like Apache Zookeeper in distributed environment. Yeah, correct. It's a configuration management system. So you have too many components, right? Like big file, all those things. So to manage each and everything, we are using this.
So Zookeeper is basically state management service, right? It manages the states of various nodes.
Zookeeper, we have a detailed slide.
Is it covered already in the syllabus, Zookeeper?
It's covered.
Okay. Yeah, because they are the topic managers. Okay, it's like a brokers, between producer and consumer. We'll be having a lot of brokers, the Kafka brokers, and those brokers whom to deliver, whom to receive, those all managed by these Zookeeper guys. Let's say, for example, WhatsApp. Okay, so somebody is sending a message to deliver to one or to deliver to one to many. Who is the broker channel? All those stuff being managed by Zookeeper. Generally, the word itself is a zoo keeping things, no? So it's a how it is. Mainly, it is used in the Kafka brokers and multiple service components configuration. They are the centralized. This is the difference between centralized and decentralized configuration. Zookeeper is centralized configuration of clusters.
That's where The
That's
new
why the
zookeeper came, to manage all the animals, right? They needed
Zoo is there and
zookeeper.
animals are there. Okay.
There is something called Apache Spoon. Okay, that's tool kind of stuff. So that is used for feeding one layer to another layer. You have to do this feeding. That is used to call Apache Spoon or something like that.
Scoop.
Scoop, right? Yeah.
That is mainly if you want to send the data to another system, right? You can use the
Correct.
scoop command.
Yeah. So generally, it's the terminology is being used in for okay. So you transfer from one place to put it in another place. No, you use the scoop. So that, I mean, if you look at, okay, if you have a MySQL data, and then you want to move all the MySQL data to an Hadoop HDFS data, and then you want to do a big size Hive query to analyze the big size data and then bring back the analysis. Say if you have 2050 RDBMS databases, you need to use Scoop connected to HDFS, and the HDFS aggregates the all MySQL data, and then on the top of that you are running your Hive query, which is kind of the same query which you are doing it in small size data. You're trying to do that in a big size data. That's why Hive is again a SQL format. You run the same query there, and which you can run it in here. And here it would be more on the what do you say? Yeah, big size data, and then RDBMS it's a small size data. Did I make it clear the real use case? Yes, no, people will use RDBMS like PostgreSQL, MySQL, MS SQL, MySQL, Oracle.
I'm using Redshift as RDBMS.
You're already in, but that is in a warehouse tool, right? You're using for operation?
No, it is warehouse, data warehousing tool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but if you have so much of warehouse info which you wanted to do big size data, then again from warehouse you have to do scoop, put it in HDFS, analyze it, bring the data. Everybody clear about Zookeeper? Any info required for Zookeeper? Let me know.
I think we are over time. Maybe tomorrow we can take it.
Okay.
I think one more. No, two. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
you
you
all.
guys.
Thank you, Veena.
Thank
So
you.
we are continuing here for videos right now.